In this video, we're going to take a look at how to add in another bit of row-level validation. So in this case, we want to figure out how we can make sure that a value inside of a column is unique. Let's take a look at an example of what this would look like just to get started. All right, so back over at my products table, take notice right here, I've already got a product in here with the name of shirt. And that product has a capital S on it, or the name has capital S shirt. So I'm going to insert a second row, or I guess a third row in this case, with an identical name. So same name, same capitalization. So I'll go back over to my query tool. I'm going to add in insert into products. We are going to provide a name, department, price, and weight. And then we'll designate our list of values. So I'm going to put in shirt. I'll make sure it's spelt and capitalized identically to the name that's already in there. I'll put in a department of whatever, tools, a price of 24, and a weight of 1. I'm going to run that. It looks like the insert was successful. So I'll then go back over to my table definition. I'm going to refresh, and there's my new product. So I now have two products with identical names. So let's now imagine that maybe the company that we were making this database for says, hey, new rule, we cannot have two products with the same name. So if we had this rule in effect, we would want to make sure that if there's already a product with a name of shirt inside of our products table, and we tried to add in another row to it with an identical name, we would want this operation to result in an error. So the name column should only have unique values inside of it. So to set this up, we're going to apply a unique constraint to the name column. Very similar to the not null constraint, we can apply this constraint at one of two times. We can either designate it when we're first creating the table by adding in the column name, its type, and then the keyword unique. If we want to have a column be both unique and say that it should not be null, we can just add on the keywords as much as we want. So we could say name not null unique. In this case, I'm only leaving off not null just to make this diagram a little bit more clear. If we want to add this constraint after a table has been created, then we'll write out alter table products, and we want to add a unique constraint to the column listed right here. And notice how the column has to be inside of a set of parentheses. There's a very good reason for that, and I'll show you what it is in just a moment. Now, once again, there is a gotcha around this. We cannot add this unique constraint unless all the values inside that column are already unique. That's not the case for us right now. Right now, if we take a look at our name column, there are some duplicate values inside there. So if we tried to add that constraint right now, we would end up with an error message that says something like, hey, we can't have this constraint. You've already got duplicate values inside there. So we have to clean up all the duplicate values first before we can apply this constraint. Well, nonetheless, let's try to add the constraint right now and just make sure that we do in fact get an error. So we're going to run alter table products, add unique name. And again, name should be inside of a set of parentheses. So we'll do alter table products, add unique name inside of a set of parentheses. We're going to run that. Yep, there we go. So it's telling us that there's a row inside of here where the name is duplicated. So we've got to fix that up. So very similar to the not null solution, we've got a couple of different options here. We could temporarily rename this column or this value right here. We could say something like shirt2. We could try to run a query where we delete all the duplicate names. Who knows? Look at the options are endless. Right now, let's take a look at how we would just modify this value. And in particular, I want to show you how we would modify it from inside of pgadmin without actually writing a query, because it's just there's a little trick to it I want you to see. So let's say that we want to manually modify the name of this product right here. So I'm going to change its name to, how about red shirt, and then click OK. Now, just making that change doesn't actually modify any value. After making that change, if I refresh the table again, you'll notice that it reverts back to shirt. So after we manually make a change like this, we have to click on this little grid button right here. That's going to save the changes that we have manually made inside this table. So I can click that button, that will save the changes, and now if I refresh the table again, I'll see that red shirt actually was saved. Okay, so now that we've got a name that is not duplicated, we can go back over to our query tool and actually apply this unique constraint. So I'm going to run that. Okay, looks good. So now if we ever try to add in another product with the same name, we should get an error. Well, let's try that out right now. So I'll put in insert into products, And we're going to designate the columns we want to specify. So that's going to be name, department, price, weight. And we'll say values, shirt, tools, 25, 1. Okay, so I'm going to run that. And there we go. So it's telling us, sorry, but we cannot add this new row in because a shirt already exists inside this table. All right, so that's how we add in some validation and make sure that we've got unique values inside of a column. Now there's one variation on this command that I want to show you. We'll take a look at it in just a moment.